You'll see yourselves for just a second as I get the video started.
For our tutorial on how to access Seesaw for at-home learning. You want to start here on the landing page for the school district, nccsmt.org, and then you come down here to the bottom and click Web Connect. Once it opens to the new tab, you click on Clever. Clever is our secure online portal for all district-approved apps. You click on Clever. You need to log in at home with your Google account, which will have been sent home with your teacher. As it's loading, you will see there are many different approved apps. And we are looking for Seesaw. Seesaw has the little rainbow swishies on it. So you click on Seesaw, which will open you to your student page here. This is what it will look like when your student, your child, logs into Seesaw at home. Their name will be up here at the top, and there will be notifications here when there are assignments to do. They are also here over in activities. We have 3 little tabs here: to do, which will show you everything your child needs to get done on their at-home learning days. You will have an in progress. If they started something at home or they started something at school, there is the opportunity to save it. They click the check mark and then they can save it and work on it at a later time. In addition, your classroom teacher will be able to look at the work and re-push it back out to your student if they need to redo it. Once they have finished a task, it will be in the done checkmark area. To do, your teacher might have a weekly planner that will have all the activities that need to be completed for the at-home learning. You'll want to do add response, and it will show you all of the activities with links. Here, this student had started the tic-tac-toe activity, and they will just need to finish that response to turn it in for their at-home practice.
Okay, thank you for that. And I'm gonna send it off to Anna and Jenny. I'm not sure who wants to go first, just talking about some of the things that can happen and the ways we might use Seesaw.
I'll go ahead and start. I wanted to also add, when we made the video, we were not sure if our QR codes would work to log into Clever, but we have tested it out on several different occasions. So the teachers might also be sending home the QR code that looks like this. And so when you log in, it'll have the badge. I can share my screen in just a minute, and you can click that to say log in with Clever badge, and your child will just hold up the badge. This is very familiar, as this is the way we log in at school to Clever. Putting in the email is not something that we practice at school. So if the Clever badge works, that's what you want. And I'll go ahead and share my screen and show you what that looks like. Except I can't. So if Peter can change that, that would be great.
Okay.
All right. Some of the activities that could be coming out are some word work type activities that your child can be working on at home that were similar to the paper pencil, but could also be done on an iPad or on a desktop or any kind of laptop. There will also be all the jobs your child needs to complete at home. Some of those may be go get your books and read for 30 minutes or read for 15 minutes. That'll be a job in Seesaw, but then they don't need to do anything else on Seesaw, that it will be going away to do their reading. It's just a way for us to send all the jobs they need to do at home in one spot.
So I'm going to share my screen one more time and show how to get to Clever and how a student might use their QR code once they bring those home. Okay, so as you can see, I am on Web Connect. This is mcpsmt.org. I would click on Web Connect, and then under Parents, you would go to, or students even, sorry, you would go to Clever. This is really our portal for all the apps. And right now, this is where the video showed that you could log in with Google. And yes, every student does have a Google account. If you have an older student, they might know their Google account and be more familiar with it. Or you can log in with their Clever badge. So they literally just hold up the QR code in front of this and it logs them in.
You have to click on that, Peter, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And click on the, yep. And then they can just swipe their QR code in front and hold it up in front of it, and it should log them in. So it's good. It's certainly good to know their email address and password as a fail-safe and as a backup, but they just know that there are two ways to get into Clever.
Yes, Ms. Malloy just put on the chat that it is the easiest way for them to navigate on their own is using the Clever badge. I would recommend only using the email if something goes wrong with the Clever badge. They know how to use this. They use it at school just about daily. So they should be independent in using that badge and getting into Clever and then Seesaw. I also wanted to let you all know that all the teachers are working very diligently on getting your children on Seesaw, and for them to know how to find their activities, how to turn in their work, and how to access it. Just the whole process from start to finish, we're using that at school as well. So we're trying to set them up for as much independence and success once next week comes. Jenny, did you have anything to add?
No, I'm mostly here for moral support and answering questions if you have them.
And just a clarification on the date of when this all starts. You've probably seen two dates that at-home learning, remote learning would go to online starting September 29th. And you also may have seen one that says it starts October 1st. Both of those are correct, but really it's October 1st because September 29th is a Tuesday. And so students who go, A-day students who attend school in person on Tuesday, Wednesday, their first at-home learning day would be October 1st, and that's when those students will be starting using the online portal, using Seesaw. So for B-day students, they really wouldn't be using it until the following Monday, October 5th, and 5th, 6th, and 7th, leading up to their next in-person days. So, and as we saw, if you didn't catch it, we do have an idea of what our schedule looks like moving forward. Essentially, things are going to stay exactly as they are up until October 13th, at which point we will move to every student 4 days a week, not Mondays. And then November 9th is when we move to 5 days a week, all students every day. So even though we are getting pretty close to the time, we're only 3 weeks away from when we're talking about every student going 4 days a week. There are about 7 more Mondays that are going to be remote learning. So it will be pretty important to be able to know how to navigate this. And just know that it's a trial and error, and we're here to support you if the bumps come up along the way.
I also saw the question of how much online work, how much would be in the app. I think that based on conversations with each grade level, that everybody still wants to send home still some paper pencil activities and then some online activities. But all of the directions for what your child needs to complete at home will be in Seesaw. So they at least need to get on to see what they need to do.
Yes, that's an excellent way to say it, Anna. The expectation is the same as it was, which is an hour and a half of remote learning, of at-home learning on remote days. But that may include 30 minutes of reading from an actual book that they might not be doing in front of the screen. So we're not saying it's going to be an hour and a half of screen time. We're saying it's an hour and a half of learning, and that will include some work directly on the screen and some that is essentially blended, paper and pencil packet and or online. But it is the place you go to find out what to do.
Are there any questions or thoughts? I just saw that will we still be using Seesaw when we're 4 to 5 days a week? Yes. The teachers are all getting very familiar with it. The kids are loving it. And as Jenny said in the comments, they pick it up so fast and teach us all kinds of cool stuff really quickly. And so we do want to be using that in the classroom so that then you also can see it, and it's a good way to see their learning.
There was another excellent question about will they be graded on Seesaw? Really, our focus right now is not so much on grading, because this is not necessarily new learning. This is practice. And so what you will see is you'll see some feedback from teachers. The nice thing about Seesaw is it is so interactive. So a student might upload a picture or upload a video of some work they're doing, and a teacher can comment on it or write a comment on it. So you'll be getting a lot of feedback, but not so much from a grading perspective. However, it is an expectation that students do it, right? And so these at-home learning days, as I've stated in a couple emails, these at-home learning days are considered school days, and that's a good thing, because that means that we don't have to do school all next summer, right? So we're reporting them to the state as school days, and so yes, there is the expectation that we do it. There was a question about, do you have to do them on the exact assigned day? No, you do not. It's not live learning for a reason. It's so that you can do it when it's good for your family to do it. I know my kiddo goes to school on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we've kind of been giving him Thursday off, and then and Friday off, and then Saturday off sometimes, and he does at-home learning on Friday, Sunday, and Monday. And that works because I'm home on Sunday, and so I can do one of the days, and it doesn't all fall to my wife. So it's really what works for your family. It's just we ask, again, that you help us in making sure that the child doesn't lose those skills and is practicing those skills, so that when they come back, they're ready to go.
Also, while we've been doing this in school, there are activities assigned to the students right now because we're teaching them how to access those activities. So if you happen to go on and kind of try it out, that's not anything your kiddo needs to be working on right now. That won't start until next week. So those are activities we're doing in the classroom to practice and work on.
And I would watch for a label at the top of the activity to say something like, learn at home day 1, learn at home day 2, something like that. So you'll know that that is an at-home job versus an at-school job.
And someone messaged about checking out a device from the school. By now, you should have all received an email from your teacher that has a survey in it that asks whether you will be needing a device to do this at-home learning at home. So please do fill that out if you need a device, and also even if you don't, I ask you to fill that out. It's just like 3 questions. at the very least, talk to your teacher about it, so that we can get you set up. And we want to make sure that people who don't have a device and those who need a device can get one so that they can participate. And we're on an equal playing field.
They don't need to log in at a specific time or anything like that. It's complete the work, as Mr. Halloran said, as you and your family, as it works for your schedule. And the earliest date that the assignments will be on there for home learning will be Wednesday, September 30th. Is that right?
Yeah.
So for our A-Day students.
Unless you're in second grade, and we're gonna have your second graders test something out on Monday of next week.
So
I think there's a question about, do we use it? Oh, do you want to talk about the app at all, Jenny or Anna?
go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, so when you're using a tablet and the app, I'm going to preface this saying there is a family app, which if you've been invited to your child's Seesaw journal, you're accessing through the family platform, so you'll only see your child's work. If your child is working, and through Clever, they're gonna use what we call the class app. So if you're on a device and you want to use the app with your child, they need the class app. And then we'll have to work with you to get their login information, because if you're not going through Clever, they'll need that. The thing about using a tablet is that you need to make sure that it is at its most up-to-date, and that the Seesaw app is at its most up-to-date capabilities, because as Seesaw updates, some of the new tools don't work if the devices aren't updated. If you're on a computer or a laptop or a Chromebook, you don't have to worry about that going in through the web, but on like an iPad or an iPhone, you would need to make sure that it's up to date.
The question is, so will we need both apps for the child at home? Do work at home, your child only needs the class app.
If you want to interact with your child's journal, and a lot of the second grade families are already connected to their journal so they can see the work that their kids are doing, that's a separate app. But right now, if you don't have it, I wouldn't worry about it. Just worry about your child, and we can help you get the family part set up later.
The emails and invitations to Seesaw for your child's class, they are coming as the teachers are ready to send that out. So I would think within the next week and a half, you should be getting that invitation to the family app if you don't already have it. But it's not something you need to do to have your student be able to do work.
A question about where to find the app. I assume you just find it in the App Store?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you're going through your web browser and can go through Clever, then you don't need the app.
Mm-hmm.
And I will just say that I know some families who, I think one of the best advantages of this is students really like it. It's super intuitive for students. It's the kind of thing they know how to do anyway. So we as parents, as guardians, are going to be the ones that are learning and trying to keep up with our students. But the kids really love it, and they're really going to be able to show what they can do, which is one of the real benefits of this whole process. Is there's a lot of different ways they can show teachers what they're doing at home, what they're practicing at home. Like I said, it's really interactive, and it's very kid friendly. So just reading from the chat, just Jenny Malloy, we got your child set up, and the Clever badge and the login information will come home next week. So be on the lookout for that Clever badge. I would keep it somewhere safe in your house and not leave it in your child's backpack, so that you can access it whenever they're ready to log in. Question about will there be homework still? I would say it really depends on the nature of what students are practicing at home and depends on what is age and skill appropriate. So obviously, if a student is working on their letter formation or their number formation, you'll log into Clever and there'll be the directions for what your student is supposed to do, but you will have received something from your teacher about, you know, help them draw the letter 2 and play this math game and then draw the letter 5 or whatever it is. So I've been doing that homework again with my kindergartner, and I imagine a lot of those skills are going to have to still happen at home because they're still learning letter formation, etc. And so it won't all be online. And if there is a paper component, there will still be some things coming home with your kiddo.
So I see that, is there a way to check that my child has finished all of their assignments? There'll be the menu with the options available that they need to do for their jobs. And then on the right-hand side under activities is a done spot. So you can look at all the ones that are done and kind of do a check mark that you got them complete. I think teachers are talking about making it a menu or making it a to-do list to where then the student could check it off. Is that right, Jenny? Maybe check it off as they finish their task so that it helps them monitor what they're doing while they're in Seesaw. As soon as it's turned in, it will say it will be under the done part of that menu.
And you'll be able to also see if something got turned in accidentally too early, the teacher can send it back and it'll turn orange on your child. It won't show up in your access, but in your child's access, they will know what they have to do, what they're currently working on, and what is already done. So that's where you would be able to check that.
Aiden did.
Jenny, Anna, I imagine some parents are wondering if my kid can just mark something as done, can I go in to do some quality check to make sure it's actually done and the assignment was done as it's intended to? Do I just go look at their work through the child portion of it?
Yep, because it's not going to show up with, it won't show up for parents to see on their end until the teacher has actually checked it. So if they do turn it in, the other option, the other nice thing about Seesaw is if you see that your child turned something in and you realize it wasn't done or they were confused somehow, they can just do it again. And it'll just submit and the teacher will have 2 versions of it. It's super easy from our end when that happens. So just know there's lots of ways to check it out.
And I would think that once you have it in the done category, you can look at that submission. Is that right, Jenny? I don't know.
I think so. You know, that's a new feature. So we
Right.
haven't seen what that looks like yet when, before a teacher has actually approved it. Because the teacher has to approve everything that comes in before it actually posts to a journal, including all the comments and everything.
Right.
I'm going to just add one more thing right now. This setting may change as we go, but right now, when your child logs in, they can see completed work from their friends. And it's been really nice in 2nd grade that the A group kids can see who the B group kids are. And they've had a little bit of back and forth in Seesaw, and it's given us a chance to have conversations about being a good digital citizen. And so for now that is turned on, but at some point we may be turning off the ability to see completed work from other kids. So just know right now that's there, but it might change.
Any other questions, thoughts, concerns relating to Seesaw or at-home learning at all?
You know, I think whenever we do Zoom meetings like this, we should get like Grayson's dinosaur and, you know, prop that up at a desk.
And we got a comment from Mrs. Schrader saying the kindergartners are practicing Seesaw this week and making it look easy. So that's good news as well. They're all practicing it in school. So it's not going to be new for them when it comes time to at-home learning.
So I have a question. Okay, Jenny, you mentioned that they could see their friends from the other A or B group. And what I'm wondering is, are we putting pictures of our children? Are you guys putting pictures of our children up, or is it their work? And then that brings me, as that mom that's always very cautious about online platforms, I want to know about the security then of Seesaw and that kind of thing. It's a slightly different slanted question.
Nope, it's perfect. I love it. And I am happy to send this link out. Mr. Halloran can send it, but the privacy policy with Seesaw is top notch. And they have been really, really great. They actually changed some of their privacy policy to match Montana's data sharing agreements and all of that. So they're super responsive to that. And right now it depends on what your child has submitted into Seesaw. So there might be, like, they practice taking a selfie, but I will also say it's like a little button that we switch that turns it off, and it's very, very, very simple to do that. So most of the time it would be just a work, but sometimes if they're taking a picture of themselves to practice using the camera tool, that might be there right now.
So, like, she just compared it to, like, Montana's privacy laws.
They're still on camera, yeah.
I'm muted.
Okay. Here.
Any other questions? Okay, so for this next part, what I'm going to do is, if you have not had the chance to log into Q Parent Portal and sign your child's forms, their forms to use technology at school, the free and reduced forms, all those forms that we typically send home in a big old packet, they're all being done online this year. They're being done through the Q Parent Portal. If you've already done it, you can go ahead and log off. If you have not done that and want to knock that out in the next 10 minutes, we're going to play the video and stop it, keep stopping it, so you can go through that step one step at a time, and so you can get one more thing off your to-do list. So if you have not filled out your forms on the Q Parent Portal, stay on for the next 10 minutes and we'll all do it together. I see a question. I logged on and can't get back in. Thank you, Lindsay, for the kind words. We appreciate it. If you are having trouble getting back in, just call our secretary or send her an email and she can reset your password if needed. And again, thank you for everyone for the kind words. Okay, so I'm gonna get that video started and then we'll share my screen. I'm gonna stop this video multiple times as we go through. So the first thing you're gonna want to do now, and I'll share my video for this part actually, my screen for this part. The first thing you're gonna wanna do now is you're gonna wanna go to mcpsmt.org. You're once again going to want to click on Web Connect. And under Parents, you're going to want to go to the Q Parent Portal. I'm going to pause here for a minute. This is where you might want to go retrieve your PIN and password and go ahead and log in. Again, it was emailed to you late last week from something called Family Connection. And as you get that set up, I will start playing the video that takes you through step-by-step how to do this. Nope. Now I lost it. No. Here we go.
If you are getting ready to sign electronically all of the annual forms that you received in email, this short video will show you a step-by-step process for how to complete it. The very first thing you want to do is go to our school district homepage, mcpsmt.org, and click on Web Connect at the bottom of the screen. Then under the column listed for parents, click on the Q Parent Portal. You'll need to log in, so make sure that you have your unique PIN and password. If you don't have it yet, you can get it from the secretary at your student's school.
Okay, are we all there? Show me a thumbs up if we're there. Okay, here we go.
Once you log in, you'll see some information about one of your students. The first thing you want to do is come right up here to the top to My Information. When you get to that area, you'll see yourself at the top of the list. Then you'll see each of your students showing right underneath you. In this case, this example only has one student. You want to go over to this edit button for each of your students. You'll have to remember to complete this for each of your students. Click edit. And you'll see some basic information with your contact information, your email address, etc. The first thing you want to do is click on MCPS opt-out.
Just going to pause there to make sure we've gotten to that point. My Information, and then opt-out, MCPS opt-out. You'll see up on the screen, there is one of the forms says, I have received a copy of my student's school handbook for the 2021 school year. We have not pushed out our handbook yet at Russell just because of all the changing dates and all the changing protocols. So don't worry about clicking on that one box that says I've read through the handbook and I will abide by the handbook and I can be held accountable for what's in the handbook. Don't worry about that one for now. Just focus on the other ones for the time being.
This screen essentially has the same language that was sent to you in the PDF with all of our legal documentation and annual notices. You can read each of these areas, and then what you want to do is scroll down to the bottom of the screen and complete this series of checkboxes for each of the areas that you read below. For example, to consent that you have read the handbook and you understand that you and your student will be held to the expectations in the handbook, you would click yes. The next area is opting in or out of digital resources. If you can't remember what you're opting in and out of, just scroll right back up to the top, read this section about digital resources, and then scroll to the bottom and make your choice. When it comes to Google, you pull this little drop down, and remember, Google is only a consent that our elementary and middle school families have to offer. And you're essentially consenting to a Google account that includes email, or no Google account at all. You'll make sure that you select all of the other checkboxes based on the language that you see in the text above. And then this is the really important part. Come all the way up to the top and click the.
I'm going to stop there just for a second. She mentions clicking on all of them, and you can read through what they are. But I just want to make you all aware that, you're going to want your student to be able to opt into digital resources, because this year more than ever, we do use digital resources both at school and at home. The GAIF access, that's so that they can have a Google account and use everything that comes with Google Suite, which is super important. Acceptable use allows them to use technology at school. And the MCPS parent link, that is how you are getting text messages and emails and phone calls from school. So if you were to opt out of that, you would not be in the loop from the school and from your child's classroom. So I would just strongly encourage parents to not opt out, to opt into that, because I've had parents in the past opt out before, and then later on in the school year say, I'm not getting any information from the school. That would be why. And of course, but the next to the directory opt-out, our school sometimes puts together a directory of just basic information that other people in your student's class might be able to see, like a phone number or an address if they wanted to send an invitation to a birthday party or something like that. If you don't want your directory information included in anything published by the school, you can opt out there. And then there is the photo opt-out. If you don't want your child's image to be portrayed anywhere outside the classroom, then that's where you would do that photo opt-out.
Submit button. You'll notice that then your account says changes pending, and secretaries on the other side of this form will be able to see the information that you entered and input that on behalf of your student. This is the point where if you had additional students listed below in this area, you would click the edit button and complete the same steps for each of the students. If you have any questions about this process, please give a call to the secretary at your student's school. Also, make sure that you complete the contact information update that was included in the email you received from the school district. If you want to find that information again, simply go to your school's homepage. I'll use Sentinel High School as an example. And then look in the series of buttons on the homepage for this link that says Contact Information Update Form. Click that, complete the form, and make sure that you give us your most recent cell phone number, home phone number, work number, as well as email address. It's really important to us that we keep that information up to date for you. And this is an important time, especially when we're sharing a lot of information digitally with our parents. Once you've completed those two steps, the last step is to complete a free and reduced price lunch form. We are really encouraging all of our families to complete a free and reduced price lunch form because it impacts the federal funding that we get for academic services in our district. It doesn't just provide families with the ability to get a free or a reduced price lunch. The way you fill that out is to go to our homepage, mcpsmt.org.
I will jump in just for a second. I think this tutorial was made before we found out that lunch was going to be free for all students, regardless of income. However, it is still absolutely important that families fill out these forms for the reason the speaker just expressed. It gives the school federal dollars for our academic programs as well, and it's not just related to our school meal program.
Click on Student Services. Come right down here to free and reduced price meal application. And then if you click right in the center of the screen on this link that says online application, you'll come right back into the Q Parent Portal. You'll have to log in, use your same PIN and password, and complete the form in Q. Thank you very much.
All right, how did that go for everyone? Any questions about that step as you were going through those steps? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording and I'll stay on for just a couple more minutes if anyone has any questions for me. But until then, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Anna, for all your help. And thank you for all of you for coming tonight. That was an outstanding turnout, 40 people. Thank you so much for supporting your students in their learning, both at home and in school. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.